all life on earth is sacred.
I believe that life is sacred.
Yeah, I do believe life is sacred because you only get one.
I think that life is what you make of it.
I think life is sacred.
They gave us life for a reason, and we have to fulfill what we have to do in our duty as people.
I do believe that life is sacred because I believe you only get one life, on this, on earth, and I believe that, you have to take every moment in sacredly, lovingly.
Because you only live once, you might as well make the best of it.
Yes, I do believe in life is sacred and that we all have a purpose in life.
I actually do believe life is sacred because I just joined the Marines, so therefore I'm actually protecting everyone else's life.
Yeah, I believe life's sacred because you don't know how long you're going to be there.
A lot of people underestimate it. Being an EMT, I see a lot of things, and it's very hard to watch, but life is a very sacred thing, and you should be blessed that you have it.
Every single life is sacred.
Each person's life is a gift.
And we each possess an intrinsic value.
So how do we encourage each other to believe that all life has value and meaning?
And that all life should be respected.
How do we educate our society that we each bear a responsibility to respect and care for all of God's creations?
How do we build a culture of life? That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Matt.
And I'm Kira, and this is Real Faith TV. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Secretariat for Pro-Life Activities pamphlet on respecting life states that our culture's desire to avoid suffering, including sacrifice, hardship, and even inconvenience, leads many to view death as a form of release.
Many balk at the personal sacrifice involved in loving and caring for a family member who needs special assistance.
Unplanned children are aborted to escape the disruptions and sacrifices entailed in raising a child.
And when we can no longer enjoy life the way we once did, like the boxer who couldn't endure a life without crowds chanting her name in the movie $1 Million Baby, death is seen as a way to eliminate psychological suffering.
How do we dissuade others to a view that death is a release or a solution to life's overwhelming struggles?
And instead encourage them to embrace and protect life.
Our Spotlight guest Charlotte believes that building this hope and vision of life begins in us.
We will also see what our studio guests have to say about this.
But first, let's go back to the teens on the street and find out if they think our culture values and respects life.
Let's check it out.
Our culture and values really don't respect life at all.
I think our culture does not value or respect life.
I say for the most part, a lot of people respect life.
I think that our culture and general values respect life. I think that there are some things that that don't, like rap lyrics sometimes.
Especially like in the mainstream media, like when you get like all these like drunk and people getting like using drugs and stuff like that.
If you listen to the rap music nowadays, it's just pretty much disgracing girls and stuff like that, killing me. It's disgraceful.
With the media, like magazines, TV, music videos, like all those things.
A lot of people robbing people, doing bad things.
I know kids that do pot and smoke and don't do anything worth living. They fail school on purpose.
All they do is start wars, riots, they hurt people, say bad things.
People treat other people bad. They don't respect each other.
People need a wake-up call about how important life is.
I don't think that our culture respects life because there's so much like racism and hate in the world. I think in order for us to respect each other, we must respect ourselves first.
Our Spotlight guest Charlotte feels that in general, our culture does not respect life.
She also finds it difficult to be someone who believes in and speaks out for the protection of life.
Let's hear Charlotte's story now.
Well, of course, all life is very sacred because life is a gift from God. I think people take life for granted every day. I don't think our culture in general values and respects life at all because even on TV, if you look, every other program is about like violence or someone getting hurt, and a lot of people are watching it because sadly like violence just sells. People, they just feed off of it. And even in music, a lot of angry music is what kids are listening to and doesn't put a good message into their head at all. There's a lot of destruction out there, but we gotta be like the builders. We can't be the destroyers. Our Catholic faith teaches us that all life is sacred, no matter how old, how young you are, born or unborn. It's a sacred thing because it's a gift from God. We also believe that life begins at conception and ends at natural death. It's not easy to be pro-life at all, because even in my group of friends, I'm known as the good church girl because I stand up for my beliefs and I say, like, hey, that's not right. You can get judged by a lot of people. There was one time in my youth group when we were we're all like talking about abortion. I spoke up and said, I'm like, oh, abortion is wrong. I don't support abortion at all because it's murder of an innocent child. And my one friend's like, it's not the child's life that you should think about, it's the woman's life. It's their choice if they would keep the child or not. I was taken aback and shocked that this person in my youth group would even say that. I had to think about it. I pray for that person every day that they'll think differently. One choice can change and affect society, or like can change and affect someone else's life. So we have to also basically think of others, or think of the long-term effect of the issue than think of what's happening now.
I love how Charlotte said we have to be builders and not destroyers. That's like a really great metaphor for the situation.
Yeah, I also liked what she said about, we also have to think when you do something that affects other people's lives. So like just killing that baby, it's affecting your own life because it's a decision you had to make, and it's affecting all those around you.
Let's meet our studio guests and find out if they think our culture values life.
Okay, they are Andrew, Mary, Nick, Annie, Ijama, and Phil.
So do you think our culture supports life?
Our culture definitely supports life. Like Charlotte was saying, God wants us to respect one another. He wants us to stay holy. He wants us to be really supportive of each other, and I think that's the most important thing in life.
I don't really think that our culture respects life. I think people, just take things for granted, and we've kind of been desensitized in a way because, like, we hear about people killing people, girls having abortions, and it's just like a common thing now, which it should not be.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I've noticed how, like, at one point in my life, hearing any of that would have been like a huge shock. But now I hear it, and it's like, it's kind of like normal because it's on TV, it's on the radio so much, and you hear it that, like you said, you get desensitized. It's just like, you kind of lose track of it.
I also think it depends on what you define as the culture. Like, the culture of America may not, but our religious culture, like Andrew said, definitely supports life. Like, God created everything lovingly and beautifully, but our American culture, like TV and music and things like that, may not necessarily support that.
We also have to remember that the culture of life not only involves topics like abortion or euthanasia, it also includes things like poverty, homelessness, and just respecting human dignity.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's one of the problems. We don't respect ourselves or the people around us, so that creates a problem or a conflict in our culture.
The church asks us to support and embrace life in all of its stages.
Right-to-life issues are in the news often and are highly controversial because people have strong opinions about abortion, euthanasia, the death penalty, suicide, stem cell research, and other issues involving life and death decisions.
No two people are alike, and thus no two people have exactly the same opinions on every issue.
Even though we are young and may still be struggling with these issues,
we can find common ground when we draw on patience and compassion to talk about these issues and our feelings.
Next, Charlotte tells us about a time when her family helped a couple who was struggling with a difficult choice when they found out their child could be born with a disability.